The lineup for World Superbikes Race 1, 18 laps of this magnificent circuit here at the Losail International Racetrack. Regis Laconi, Xerox Ducati on pole. Troy Corser's Alstara Corona Suzuki alongside. Sebastian Jambert's Yamaha France R1 in third place. And Yukio Kageyama's second Alstara Corona Suzuki on the outside. 28 riders should have been on the grid. 27 riders are on the grid, because Jose Luis Cardozo's R1 has failed to start, or at least has packed in, conked out is the old-fashioned expression, before they set off on the warm-up lap. This is going to be just about the hardest race to call that we've ever had in World Superbikes. What's going to happen with it? Who's going to make the vital start?
I'm getting giddy now, Jack.
For you to get giddy, James, this must be a riot about to happen. Watch those lights. When they go out, the race is on. And they go. Troy Corser immediately pops a quick wheelie, and it looks like the man in second place on the grid. Troy Corser gets a great start, cuts across to the inside. It's Kageyama. Kageyama comes through and just heads off one of the R1s into the long first turn.
That's the water.
And Yukio Kageyama gets the sort of start that he's noted for. His teammate Troy Corser in third place. And I think one of the Yamaha Italia bikes has nosed through from the second row of the grid and maybe in second place.
I think that's Pitt.
I think Andrew Pitt, the former World Supersport champion,
came off the
because
front row.
Nori Haga, beg your pardon, no, Pitt was on the second row of the grid, so too was Haga, who did fourth place. And I think that was Ivan Silva making a big mess on the Team Glees R1 and dropping a couple of places mid-pack. And I think that, Frankie Keeley, is it Keeley? Is his luck ever going to change? He abandons Ducati for what he hopes is going to be a good solid Honda, and he's out before the race has begun. Or as the race starts. You can see the Buggy Petronas guys back there, the experienced and rapid Australians, Steve Martin, number 99, and Gary McCoy, who've had a really torrid time. They were the fastest bikes on track in the wet. When it was very, very wet, that was on the first day of qualifying, but otherwise they've been struggling a bit to get on terms with this raft of 1000cc Fords.
Yeah, Carl says they're still down on power. They're about 10 k's down instead of being 15 to 18 k's down as they were last year. The fact of it is this year there's more people in between with more competitive bikes. It looks like they're not doing as well, but actually they're going a lot quicker than last year.
We now have the Alstara Corona 1-2 at the front, so the GSXR 1000s are there with Kageyama, the former British Superbike star, at the front, as Troy Corser just noses underneath his teammate. So Corser, pre-race favourite.
He's gone wide though. He's gone wide. I was just going to say he's made it look so easy, but maybe not.
It's interesting to see that Carl Mugridge, who never even got into Superbike, is up to about 12th place. He's feeling a bit healthier after the bout of flu that he's been through.
Yeah.
And he said badly affected his concentration and messed up qualifying.
And Mugridge is a racer. He's more of a racer than he's a qualifier. He loves the racing.
So howling down the 1 kilometre straight into turn 1.
Corser again.
Corser slides through.
Very stick this time.
And the front four at the moment have just slightly crept clear. And
Walker's in
is that Stalker in
That's
fifth?
Walker in
He's
fifth.
thinking that's a 10 cartifier. He spent all weekend, he said, looking for Vermeulen in yellow, and then suddenly found him the wrong side, him in blue, and realised he'd been looking for the wrong colour.
Well, Chris is having a good run here.
So Chris Walker, they've definitely got that bike started. He's ahead of number 3, Norik Arbe, just 2 places behind him. In fact, I think he's got Haga and Arbe behind him. So Arbe through from 15th place on the grid. So nifty Norik has made a cracking start in his first ever World Superbike race. And whereas it was all Ducatis at the front, here we have the one thundering V-twin of number 55, Regis Laconi, trying to find a way past the R1.
I think Pitt's holding him up now. Pitt looks to be trying really hard, and Laconi looks to be getting a little bit frustrated. You can see Corser really pulling out fairly good lead for this early, to be honest.
Regis Laconi knows he's got the speed. He was always wears his heart on his sleeve. He was really bouncing with joy when he grabbed that super pole. I think he might have just crept underneath Andrew Pitt on the left-hander.
Yeah, and I think he's going to need to. If he's going to do anything about Corser, he needs to be getting past, and he has got past Pitt. Look at Walker though.
Stalker, well, he said he was really happy with the way the bike was going. He said he was going to change that ride height this morning. They had just a couple of ideas left in the bag that might sort out the handling, and he felt that they'd have the speed that the bike is capable. Look at Tosland. Tosland made him progress in mid-pack as well. And he's just ahead of number 31, Carl Mugridge. So guys who are getting into their race mode, qualifying suddenly becomes relatively relevant.
He does. accept it's not irrelevant when you're having to come through like Mr. Toseland is at the minute.
This is true. 2 laps completed then. This is Troy Corser at the front. Behind him we've got Kageyama, Laconi, Pitt. Stalker is in 5th place. 6th Norihaga, 7th Noric Abe, 8th. Another man who's made a blinding start who had missed is Fonzo Nieto, who's also a debut boy out there in World Superbike. So he's been really struggling all weekend. But Nieto on the NC Karachi Ducati has also made good strides through the mid-pack. And behind Nieto there's Toseland, Silva, Vermeulen, Bugaric, Sebastian Chambert and Giovanni Busset making his return to Toki Kawasaki. Andrew Pitt now is tailgating, looking confident, hanging right in there behind Regis Laconi. Pitt's had some good useful time on the Italia R1. He's been turning in some good times in Phillip Island. There's Stalker ahead of Haga.
Yeah, I know the Yamaha Motor Italy are well pleased with Andrew Pitt. He's easy to work with, he tries out on the bike. He doesn't seem to get off it that often, and yeah, they're happy with him.
And Fonzo Nieto really putting in a terrific charge. The 26-year-old from Madrid is on bike number 10. Look for the Karachi Ducati number 10. As we have our eyes at the moment on the reigning world champion number 1, James Toseland. There is Ivan Silva just ahead of him. Ivan Silva Albatola, the 22-year-old from Barcelona on the Leclis team YZF-R1. Look how cool and smooth Troy Corser is. Not so cool and smooth, Kageyama, but still there on pace. And 5th place, Haga's trying to steal it from Stalker. And has done. So Haga just sneaks through there on the inside of Chris Walker. Stalker said that when they had to put the just chuck a lead weight on just before qualifying on the day before, where would that be? The day before yesterday, when they found they were 5 kilograms underweight.
That'd be Thursday, Jack.
That would be Thursday. It really messed up the handling of the bike, and he said I turned into Bob Throttle Jockey Jackson. He said I was just thrusting and gutting, blipping it to oblivion on the downshifts.
Going nowhere.
And going nowhere. There's 2 of the Grand Prix arrivals absolutely nailed together. Fonzo Nieto and number 3 was Noric Abe.
I think Stalker's going to be happy with this anyways. What happens now, he knows he can run with them.
So the Alstara Corona Suzuki's Francis Batter was looking pleased as punch with life yesterday. Looking at, I think his waistline had swollen by a few inches over the winter. He'd obviously enjoyed an extremely happy and indulgent winter, and he was well chuffed with the speed of his riders.
I can't imagine how much he's going to eat tonight if we finish 1-2.
Well, he'd probably be around looking at the sausages as Yamaha Italia, wouldn't he?
Put more sausages on.
And Regis Laconi proving that and he and Fonzo Nieto at the moment proving that there's life in those Ducatis yet. And in fact he's beginning to pick up ground now on Kageyama.
The thing is though, Jack, you'd expect these things not to get that much better throughout the year. It should be a well-sorted bike at this point. They've been running it a year. And the opposite would be the case, you'd think, for the Japanese stuff, especially not so much the Suzuki's. They're a well-sorted bike. But certainly the Yamahas and the Kawasaki's you'd expect to get a lot quicker. A lot of new teams with new bikes that you would think would make progress.
Oh, interestingly, here's the first proper view we're getting of Norifumi Abe, the 29-year-old from Tokyo.
With things hanging off his bike, that looked like a piece of tape. If it obviously isn't cold here, but if the bike isn't getting up to temperature, they will tape up put a strip of tape on the radiator just to bring the temperature up to the right working temperature for the engine. And it looks like a piece has come off there, looking as flapping out the side of the bike.
Noric Abe is ridden for the Danton Yamaha team, ridden for Wayne Rainey in his time, has won 3 Grand Prix, including twice at Suzuka, his home Japanese round. And here he comes up the inside now of Fonzo Nieto's Karachi Ducati.
Easy.
Slopes through turn 1. Both of these guys, of course, have ridden this circuit before last year, James, when they're here with the Grand Prix squad.
I think there's only 2 people, no 3 people. Kageyama actually tested here with the GP squad, and Abe and Nieto, the only 3 riders in the race who's ridden here before ever.
Lap 4 out of 18, that was number 200, Giovanni Busai on the Bertocchi Kawasaki. This is number 55, Regis Laconi, inch by inch closing up on second place man Kageyama. It's interesting, we were talking about qualifiers and racers. Look at Sebastian Jambert, great qualifier, but back in 13th place in the race from the front row of the grid.
Yeah.
Having said that, he finished twice fourth at Magny-Cours last round of last season.
At his home round, it has to be said, so you'd think if he were going to go well anywhere, it would be at Magny-Cours that year.
And did you notice Steve Martin had the Funky Patronus, the FP1, just outside the points in 16th place? Which, when you've qualified outside the top 10, is pretty good. Fastest lap now for number 55, Regis Laconi. Oh, he's risking going off that groove line, as you call it, James.
He is, and the riders are actually saying, I mean, he's going to have to go offline to get past. But everybody's saying that if you do go offline, you do go out the groove, and it is fairly slippy out wide, both with dust and with the fact that there's no rubber being put down. Plus the fact, actually at the moment, there's actually damp patches out wide. He's risking it a little bit, trying to get past Kageyama.
A peek up the inside of Yukio Kageyama, who's made this remarkable comeback from serious injury in 2003.
A little bit of frustration, I think, creeping into Laconi's riding now. He's got to watch what he's doing, because we all know
what he's capable of.
Exactly. Yeah, he's no stranger to the tarmac, is he?
No, and he's looking a bit wide-eyed, isn't he?
He
needs to find a way through it. It's great when we're wearing these visors, and the riders are wearing these visors that where we can see the eyes. Notice he didn't really have the speed along the straight to stay with the Suzuki. And
nowhere near, and that is even in the slipstream. He couldn't get anywhere near. We see that even from in front, dragging the Ducati along, the Suzuki GSX-R 1000 managed to pull probably 2 bike lengths, and now he's right with him when it comes to the corner. So, you know, we know how quick the Japanese fours are, particularly the Suzuki. And now on speed alone, certainly top end speed, the Ducati just doesn't seem a match for them.
And these are the two Yamaha Italia R1s, with Norihaga now beginning to close in on Andrew Pitt in 4th place. Kageyama, of course, started out life as a test rider for Suzuki in the 500 Grand Prix of 1993. He's been with them a long, long time. Still trying to hold on to making it at Suzuki 1-2 at the moment. Norihaga cutting down the gap on his teammate Andrew Pitt.
And Laconi getting ever more frustrated trying to get past Kageyama. We haven't seen much of Corser, but you've got to say when things are going his way and he likes the bike and he likes the circuit, there's not many people can touch him, and that is, I'd say that in any class as well.
30-year-old Japanese star Kageyama just holding off the Frenchman from Saint-Dizier now, just across the border in Switzerland.
Yeah, I mean, Kageyama, to me, awesome fella. He's so tough. Came to race in a country, he couldn't even speak English, came to race in England, didn't have any friends, had a huge crash, ended up spending about 4 months in hospital, broken pelvis, a lot of damage. I mean, really ill for a long time. And he's back on a bike going just as quick as ever. You've got to take your hat off to the bloke.
He's one of these guys who's never actually kind of won a championship. He's been, he's been third in the Japanese 250cc championship and stuff like that, but he's never actually made a champion.
He's been more of a test rider for Suzuki. He's never actually done a full season at many things until he came to Britain, to be honest. I tested with him back in the late 90s when I was riding Suzuki's in World Super, on factory Suzuki's World Superbike, and he was quick then. You go to a Japanese circuit even then, and we were supposed to be, me and Mike Hale were supposed to be the World Championship riders, and he was slamming our asses all the way around. Every Japanese circuit we ever went, he was so quick, but he's tested Suzuki's for years.
And it was noticeable once again that Laconi managed to get a bit closer as they tippled down the straight into turn 1, but it was still not quite close enough to dip underneath and try and catch him on the brakes.
He certainly doesn't look like he's quick enough to actually get past and pull away, but we all know the riders weren't complaining, but they were all...
he's got him this time.
He's gone wide though.
Has he managed to hold on to it? He's gone wide.
He has gone
Kageyama
wide.
tucks underneath. Who's on the racing line? Oh, Laconi showing absolutely desperate determination, and he's cut back in front of Kageyama. He's got that 2nd place.
He has. All the riders were saying that he's such a difficult place to pass. It's you're never straight for long enough to actually make a clean pass on anybody.
James Toulson, in contrast, is going backwards in a sense, because he's dropped back behind. Oh, and Laconi made a mistake there that's cost him dear. He just caught the curb. Oh, he's trying to hold on underneath. Brave stuff.
That is brave.
Oh, the Frenchman doesn't want to let two men who will not give way, and finally Laconi squeezes underneath Kageyama, and he's really on the limit.
Kageyama suffered for just being tough there. He just tried to stay on the outside of him when really he should have slotted him behind him. and eventually to give way and lose a lot of ground, really.
I was saying that James Toseland has slipped behind his old adversary, or his young adversary, Chris Vermeulen, back to 11th place. Vermeulen now 10th. So the two 10-carded Winston Hondas in front of and behind Toseland's Ducati.
Mugridge is having quite a good run, considering he's struggled all the way through practice with his fitness. He's had flu, he's not felt around the bike, he hasn't had time to get used to the bike, and Mugridge isn't a guy who normally gets used to things pretty quick. He takes his time, settles in, and then he does get good.
Now, how quick is the Alstara Corona Suzuki coming down here, James? No, he's not going to take a look.
No, but to me, that's at least as quick or a little bit quicker than the Ducati. I think Kageyama's going to find it easier to get past Laconi than Laconi did to get past Kageyama.
Francis Patek keeping a very close eye on the computer screen in his garage. He must be pretty chuffed with the way. Remember, we've really missed having Alstara Corona in World Superbikes. They've been focusing on World Super Sport for the last season. It's great to welcome them back.
He was with the chef then, looking at tonight's menu.
Of course he was. I should have recognised the man. And they always have the biggest spreads in the paddock.
He's a fantastic team, to be honest.
Behind these guys, the pit is still hanging on ahead of Nori Haga. Norik Abe is 6th, so there's 3 Yamahas in a row there. 4, in fact, because Ivan Silva's now in 7th ahead of Chris Walker. Vermeulen is 9th behind Stoker. 10th, Toseland. 11th, Fonzo Nieto has dropped back a bit. Sebastian Jambert has got the better of Carl Mugridge and pushed Muggers back to 13th. 14th, Giovanni Busset. 15th, another of the R1s, this time Marco Borciani. 16th, Steve Martin. 17th, Lorenzo Lanzi. 18th, Ben Bibos Bostrom, ahead of Nurkoishner, and 20th place man, right behind Nurkoishner, is Gary McCoy, number 24 on the FP1.
I'm surprised about Nurkoishner because he actually has been running, he's been one of the surprises of the weekend. He's been actually running fairly strong, well up in the top 8, and I expected him to be somewhere near top 10, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm pretty startled at him being that far back. Yukio Kageyama's really on for this, isn't he? Oh, both of them are.
You see, I thought, when Laconi's behind Kageyama, he looked to be trying so hard. It didn't look like he could easily get past and pull away. It wasn't a sort of relaxed sitting behind somebody. It was a frantic, desperate, bid to get past anywhere he could. And it didn't look like he was doing it easy. And there's no way he's got past and called with Corser. Corser just seems to have this all well in hand.
At the moment, with 8 laps completed, then Troy Corser in the lead with a lap of 2 minutes 3.638, and he's got a lead of 4.6 seconds. 2 minutes 4.1. So with this battle going on, look at this. That was you just glimpsed then Sebastian Jambert right on the back wheel there of number 1 James Toseland. So he's closed the gap on Toes.
Corser's putting half a centre lap into everybody, every single lap. When
well,
good,
he said he had half a second spare. He told me yesterday, I've got half a second spare on this bike. I'm feeling that comfortable on it. I've got nothing to sort out this afternoon because the bike's perfect.
That's meant that. God, I can never remember having anything spare, to be honest. Must be a good position.
And we're losing the number 25 machine. It's Alessio Vellini on the Team Pedicini 998
Oh, what
RS.
do you know? It's a Ducati.
It's a Ducati. Oh dear.
With only one piston left by the look of it there, Jack.
It did look a bit that way, didn't it?
I'm no mechanic, but that's what it looked like to me.
But James, you've always convinced me. I've always thought you were.
No, I am.
There's proof of the fact that Corser has that 4.6 second advantage on Laconi. Incidentally, Arbe's closing on Haga. Vermeulen 7th, 8 Silva, 9 Toseland, 10 Walker. Walker's got squeezed back.
Yeah, there's something with Haga. Haga's actually dropping back
and
now.
I think we've lost Vermeulen. No, Vermeulen's 7th. Sorry, Vermeulen's still in there.
And Vermeulen's actually lapping. He's lapping at least as quick, maybe a bit quicker than the guys around him. But the man there on the move's Arbe.
Norik Abe certainly proving his prowess here straight away. He said he was well motivated to do well in World Superbikes, having had such an absolutely glum year as, theoretically, Valentino Rossi's teammate at Yamaha last year. But it was a really bad year for the 29-year-old Japanese star, and he's come to regroup.
Jack, would you want Valentino Rossi as your teammate?
Not if you wanted to be winning. No, it might be. I thought it might prove inspirational. There's the lead. There's the gap. There's the leader. Second and third men, Regis Laconi, Yukio Kageyama. Incidentally, you may have noticed a lightly pregnant the new wife of this man, Troy Corser, the beautiful Sam Davis, lightly pregnant on the starting grid, heavy with their second child, as Norik Abe, and that dramatic riding style has got the better of the other R1, Nori Haga. So Yamaha France getting the better of Yamaha Italia here, James.
It is, yeah. Just check out that Yamaha France. They've obviously developed their own swing arm. It's a huge, great swing arm made out of girders.
It is, isn't it, Monty, compared to that one that
Nori's
got?
Looks to me that Aga, the Yamaha Motor Italy, has actually standard swing arms. And actually, Rob Mack did a lot of work last year on the R1 swing arms, and decided that after they'd gone to the expense and trouble of getting brand new ones made, fabricated up, that actually look beautiful. They weren't as strong or as rigid as the standard swing arms, so they went back to that. So looks like France, Motor France has gone down the same route and made one out of an old metal building.
Well, it seems to be doing its job. This is number one, James Toseland, trying to do his. He's closing on Ivan Silva, but he's also got Sebastian Jambert on the second of the Yamaha France R1s right behind him. So there's lots of stuff happening right down through the field. Now that number 155, Ben Bostrom, down there in 19th place, James, he's we know that he's had absolutely no time on the bike, and that they're struggling with, at the moment, they've got pretty standard equipment there, haven't they, as well as just
it must be
race bike.
It must be so disheartening for him. He just won't be used to being this far down in any championship he's ever done. But saying that, as won't Toseland. Toseland, to me, he's struggling. You know, this to me must be for him struggling. His teammates right up there, and there's people that he's probably never heard of in front of him. That's not right, is it?
Well, indeed, Ivan Silva is right there, in just ahead of Toseland, in 8th place on the Team Lease Yamaha R1. And that 22-year-old from Barcelona has proven to be strong through the testing here and throughout qualifying and free practice.
Yeah, no.
In fact, he was fastest in the wet during qualifying yesterday morning, so he's a good all-rounder.
Long John Silver, he was.
Troy Corser still looking just absolutely cool at the front, and he's comfortable in the lead. He said that everything was just right for him, and he was delighted that Sam actually only flew in on Thursday from Australia, having left Kalani Gray with Nan and Pops, and that they'll be flying back to Australia after this. He'll come back they've got a 2-day test session booked for Alstara Corona Suzuki before the WSB official test at Valencia. Then it'll be off back to Phillip Island for his favourite track. Oh, and look at this! Andrew Pitt finds Norik Abe going around the outside of him.
I said Abe with the man on the move. Mind you, I tell you what, he's dragged Aga with him, because Aga's right behind Pitt now.
So Andrew Pitt in the sandwich between the two Japanese Yamahas, but it's Norik Abe who's the quick one amongst them, and Abe now is through into 4th place. Norik Abe, having been not really got to grips with the conditions yesterday, he said he's been really thrilled with the Yamaha R1 to find it such an absolutely pure race bike. He didn't really know what to expect.
Yeah,
he found it's light and fast and almost like a MotoGP bike. That's
it. He thought it was going to be some kind of shopping bike with the racks taken off, and he's actually been impressed about how these Superbikes feel very, very similar to MotoGP bikes.
Andrew Pitt, World Super Sports champion 4 years ago, now trying to hang on to his place ahead of Nori Haga, but Haga is really threatening on those two identical R1 Yamahas from Senior Conzoni's Yamaha Italia team, the former Belgarda outfit.
Haga's going for it now.
Through. Haga, of course, had a huge lay off the bike, about 3 or 4, even 5 months before he got back onto the R1 and tested at Phillip Island. That bunch behind isn't so far back from Pitt, and that includes, it's led by Vermeulen with Silva, Toseland, Jambert in there. Oh, and it's Laconi's gone gravel tracking. Oh, what are you doing in the kitty litter races? He's looking back to see where Peter has gone a long way off.
He has.
He's not the only one.
He's taken Abe with him, has he?
Is that? It looks like Abe.
I think it is.
And it looks like it's raining. The rain's coming down and holding up his hand. That means that those lads will be all right, because it'll go back a lap.
Yep.
And that's probably the reason that they went off.
Yep.
So not a moment too soon. The grid regroups for the second half of the first race of World Superbike Round 1. A gap where Norifumi Abe's R1 should be. And and that's in front of James Toseland. He's not going to be tempted into going for a flying start and getting himself penalised, but he has at least got space in front of him to work with at the moment. He can see straight through to that pole-setting first half race winner, Troy Corser. And Norik Abe waiting to start from pit lane. Watch those lights. When they go out, the action's on. And who's going to get away first this time? And Laconi did cut straight across in front of Troy Corser, but it's
Looks
Kageyama.
like Kageyama again, and Pitt again.
And Kageyama and Pitt
And
once
Corser
again.
again.
And Corser just comes
And
through.
Laconi
and
again.
Laconi gets swallowed up. And I was so busy watching that, I didn't realise what happened with Abe.
Abe's away, he's at the back somewhere.
So Kageyama's lightning fast start works once again. He's away at the front. Ooh, and a snaking pit right behind him. And Corser's already back behind Laconi. Haga in fourth place. Another great start for Walker. Through from the fourth row of the grid into fifth. And at the moment, Chris Walker's getting the sort of starts. Oh, and Toseland is there behind. I was going to say that James Toseland could pray for, but Toes is right there behind Walker.
We'll see what it can do from a better start this time.
So Toseland's got to show a bit more aggression and surely a bit more purpose this time around. And right behind him is Carl Muggeridge, ahead of his teammate there, his predecessor as World Supersports champion Chris Vermeulen. So Kageyama, Pitt, Laconi, Corser, Haga, Walker. That's Ivan Silva, and a great start from number 57, Lorenzo Lanzi on the SC Karachi Ducati 999. And there's so much cotton thrust. This is a club sprint, this, James.
It is, yeah.
When was the last time you were in a club sprint?
Oh.
Carnaby or somewhere like that?
I remember the last time I had a club sandwich, if that helps.
No, not good enough. Too recent. Look at Corser. He's through into third place, back in front of Laconi. And one of the FP1s, I think it's Steve Martin's, made a decently bright start as well. Stalker and Toseland, the two mates together, and then the two teammates together there. Carl Muggeridge and Chris Vermeulen. Oh, this is going to be a bit of a breathless one. And Kageyama's really stretching them at the front. Hits the stop down the straight. 297.8 kilometres per hour. Pitt 292, Corser 297, Laconi 302 in the slipstream.
Yeah, it's quite a long straight. It's almost, he's actually a full kilometre along the straight. It's a very long straight.
And this is going to be some good thrust down here. Corser's in a good position because he knows as long as his teammate doesn't wiggle at least more than 4 seconds ahead of him, then he's got that overall aggregate in the bag.
Yeah, he's still, on aggregate, he's still 3 seconds in front at this point.
Vermeulen, Silva, Abe already in 9th place on bike number 3, ahead of his teammate Jambert, and Muggeridge 11th, 12th, Walker. And that must be, I beg your pardon, that must be on aggregate. We're talking aggregate there on our caption. I was thinking, hang on, Muggers isn't there. And Muggers at the moment, the two CBR Hondas are putting the pressure on Toseland. Come on, James. Excuse me while I just get a bit jingoistic for a moment.
Yeah, the fact of it is Toseland, for some reason, just can't run the same pace as either his teammate or the front runner, which has got to be a worry for him.
Oh, great, the power going down. Look at Vermeulen just tucking underneath Ivan Silva there. And that's one of his great talents. One that Nori Haga has often displayed in World Superbikes, that ability to cut hard and quick underneath people. Oh! That was Troy Corser having a huge moment, and Andrew Pitt must have... what do you see when something like that happens right in front of you?
You're just hoping you don't get caught up in it, because it's so easy. I mean, if somebody crashes in front of you and gets thrown clear and the bike slides off and you're in no danger, you don't think anything, you get on with it and you do what you've got to do. But when you see an accident happening in front of you, think, oh God, I'm going to run into that. Yeah, obviously you try and take avoiding action, but a lot of times you can't do anything about it.
6 laps to
They're
go.
still giving him +4, his team, so they're obviously trying to calm him down and make him aware of the fact that he still is well in front on aggregate.
Look at Stalker. Now Stalker would make a good club racer, wouldn't he? So he was a good
enjoying
club.
this. The fact of it is, he came through so quick through the ranks in Britain. did Stalker, that he only actually did club racing for about a couple of months, and then he moved on to national racing. He was that quick, so...
Yeah, because he had his first road race in April '94 at Mallory Park, and then he was the British 250 champ in '95.
Yeah, he started national straight away. He was very, very, very quick. Apparently went on a track day and was so quick that somebody said, oh, you've got to start racing, you know. And he'd never actually been on a road bike much before. Essentially, his background's motocross.
Yeah, he'd always been a decent MC motocrosser.
Very, very decent, yeah.
And Kageyama at the
He's
moment,
off.
he's pulling the pin on
He's
these
off
guys.
on one.
Off on one, and Tosland is fighting in there. He's keeping Stalker behind him. He's keeping the two Tenkate Winston Hondas behind him.
Pitt's desperate to his top Yamaha. Looks like he is at the minute.
We've got Arbe's through the 10th place. Behind is Sebastian Jambert. Best lap, Corser 2 minutes 2.5. Kageyama 2 minutes 2.135. So Kageyama's really rooting for it here, and Tosland is looking more confident and stronger as the Tenkate Hondas try to find a way past what they must have, I think, is their last year's team bike. Chris Walker in custard yellow. Look at the performance of Ivan Silver.
Custard yellow, Jack.
Well, it is kind of a custard
Yeah,
yellow.
it is, very much so, yeah.
Blancmange,
Yeah, I like
I used
that.
to make when I was a kid. And then Ivan Silva, just the runner-up in the Formula Extreme Spanish Championship, only won one race as opposed to Cordoza's half a dozen last year. But obviously that 22-year-old from Barcelona knows what he's about on the R1, and he's really putting in a remarkably good ride. Here he comes. You can see that distinctive bike lining up as Muggeridge slides inside Walker.
And Tosland tries to go up the inside of Arga but doesn't make it. Again, the force on the bike's proving just as quick or quicker than the Ducatis down the straight, and that's the fact.
Well, you said that Muggers he's just about shaken off the effects of the flu, and he's feeling able to concentrate on what he's doing and see where he's going. It's certainly looking like that now. Here comes Tosland trying to find a way.
But it was a good point that Tony in the studio came up with, because there's new stricter substance tests and rules. They're not even allowed to take anything, not even Lemsip or any decongestants or anything for the flu, so they've just got to sit it out, really. Just got to sweat it out.
Yeah, which is why exactly what these poor lads have been having to do. Tosland looking again at Haga.
Oh, big crash. 3 riders off.
And including
like
Sebastian
it's
Jambert.
Definitely Jambert.
No, it's Jambert, not Arbe.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's one of the Suzukis.
And 57 Lorenzo Lanzi. Number Neukirchner's there on the silver bike. Excuse my German malpronunciation.
I'm sure I saw horrible. Suzuki, no?
No, I don't think it was a Suzuki.
Okay.
No, I think it was Lorenzo Lanzi might be the lad who's come off worst there.
Yeah, it's Neukirchner, Jambert and Lanzi. Yeah.
Pretty certain they're the guys involved. That doesn't look very comfortable though. Regis Laconi, meanwhile, still battling to find a way past Troy Corser. He wasn't able to get near him in the first race. At least he's able to test his pace against him this time around. And his best lap time so far has been exactly 1/10 of a second slower than the Alstara Corona Suzuki. Andrew Pitt still looking strong in fourth, and look at James Tosland. While we've been away from the action, he has sneaked past number 41 Noriyuki Haga, and number 31 closing the gap is Carl Muggeridge, trying to make up for not such a good race first time out, as we watch Chris Vermeulen try to find a way on the look at Stalker shaking and nodding his head.
Yeah.
Half distance, 4 laps to go out of 8. Some terrific action going on here. I hope it's processional for you enough, Tony, back there in the studio. Ooh, that was a nasty moment there for Andrew Pitt, kicking the curb as he came out. And as Jezza was saying, you've got to stay off that green stuff that looks like turf and isn't. It's lethal AstroTurf. You don't want to stick yourself on that too often. And Tosland is looking more confident. He's riding. His body language has really changed since race 1.
Yeah, he looks to be having a lot better go at it this time.
Ben Bostrom almost in the points. Martin just ahead of him. McCoy just outside the points as well. Sanchini having a better time of it.
And already this time of the season, you can see how much closer, how much more depth there is than last year.
Look at
a lot of riders out there.
Ivan Silva. Look at the way he's giving, I was going to say, giving some grief to Muggers. He just stonks inside him, and then he runs wide.
No, he has.
He's there.
Or has he?
He has.
He has.
For him. He was doing
Muggers loves all that. Muggers will be rolling his sleeves up now, mentally. Come on, then.
Oh, look how close do you want it? There's like the touch kissing rubber almost, as they call, out of the left-hander and up towards that fast sequence of rights.
And he looks to have the measure of him, doesn't he? He looks to have the measure of Muggers.
He does. That's that Team Glees R1 Yamaha that's got Lewitt Danton keeping an eye on it in the garage. You know, it's well sorted, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
His teammate, incidentally, I think is the Portuguese lad, Miguel Praia, who's also been going a little bit quicker than he was last year.
Couldn't go a lot slower than he did last year.
No, that's true. Meanwhile, at the front, Corser still has the advantage and stretches it by a couple of bike lengths on down the straight over Laconi. Laconi, 3 laps to go, tries to close it up on the braking. And Corser's having to just keep... He's just having to keep an eye on that gap and know that he's got the advantage. That
He's still got 2.5-3 seconds, I think.
He has, yeah. He's cool enough. Troy Corser at the moment headed for aggregate victory here, but look at the amount of grief he's getting when they get to the twisty bits. Oh, and Laconi picks it up underneath him. Great move from Laconi. He got the power down so early. That was a move that he'd planned a long way out, and it worked.
I tell you what, there's no way. I don't know what Laconi's doing really, because in 3 laps there's no. I don't think there's any. I mean,
yeah, but he's got to keep on the hold of second place ahead of Kageyama.
That's true.
That's the point. He can't let Kageyama get away. I'm not even sure now which of these guys is second in the race. I mean, in aggregate.
Yeah, at the minute Kageyama, but only just. You're right.
So he really needs to close that gap on Kageyama, and he knows he's capable of doing that. As Vermeulen has a wobbly moment looking underneath his teammate Karl Muggerich. The two World Super Sports champion Aussies, nose to tail now on those Tenkata Winfield Hondas. Silver just ahead of them and Chris Walker just behind them.
I don't think I like them as much as the yellow ones though. I like the yellow.
I like the yellow.
Tenkata's meant to be yellow, wasn't it?
Yeah. And this is James Tosland.
Doesn't my bum look big in this?
Tosland heading through the point at which he had his monumental testing high side. He's got through safely this time. Perhaps he's getting a little more confident through that bit now. Nori Haga finds the almost unknown Ivan Silva closing on him now. Muggers flicking off
a tear
off, and that wouldn't help his attempts to keep Vermeulen behind him. And this is the battle royal for second place in this race. Is the attempts of Regis Laconi, number 55, to close the gap on the leader Kageyama, 71. 2 laps to go.
Yeah, and Laconi needs to pull back just over a second on Kageyama
in 2 laps
to get second. He's not going to do it. He can't do it. Last lap. Ooh, no, he can't do it. I don't think.
See how Yukio knew. He pulled the pin right from the start, didn't he? And he was just on the case. And he knew what he needed to do if he was going to make it a Suzuki 1-2 in the opening race of World Superbikes 2005.
This is going to be so close for second. I mean, essentially all Corser's got to do is keep Laconi in his sights.
And at the moment we've got Corser with a 2.7 second advantage over Kageyama, who's got 1.2 second advantage over
Laconi. But that was at the end of the lap. That was at the end of the last lap. This is going to be close because Laconi does look like he's pulled it now.
Laconi is making ground all the time, and that's Chris Vermeulen, who's decided that he's got to try and get the better of Silva's Glees R1, the black and red bike. He is close enough indeed to the Yamaha Italia R1 of Noriyuki Haga. So Haga, Tosland, Silva, Vermeulen, Muggerich, Arbe 10th, Busai 11th, Forciani 12th. That's in this 8-lap sprint. Nieto is 13th ahead of Chris Walker 14th, Steve Martin 15th ahead of Bostrom and McCoy.
And Vermeulen only has to gain another 2/10 on Silva to on aggregate to nab him for 7th, which it looks like he will do because he was lapping probably 4/10 a lap quicker there last lap.
What it may come down to is he needs to get past him.
Could be more difficult.
It could be slightly more difficult than just making up a couple of tenths, couldn't it?
Yeah. Let's see where they are now.
Laconi crosses the line in second place in the race. Is he going to make second place on aggregate?
Yeah.
And at the moment, he's not.
Look, he's not going to make second on aggregate. It's still a second. It's still just under a second. He's behind Kageyama for second.
And that was Ivan Silva has got through inside Norihaga. So Ivan Silva makes another pass in this race, which is Kageyama.
Kageyama's
doesn't seem to bother him, does
He
it?
doesn't, and he knows exactly what he's got to do, and it looks like he's been able to do it. Good on you. You can't not like Kageyama, what he's been through and the way he is.
No, he's a lovely cigarette-smoking, whiskey-drinking, happy-go-lucky, penetrative racer, isn't he?
Yeah, but the most serious race you'll ever likely to meet.
So the 30-year-old Japanese star looks as if he's going to take his first, well, on the track, take the checkered flag as a race winner and seal a Suzuki 1-2 here if he just stays cool and nailed on this final lap. Laconi's still giving it everything to try and close the gap on him at the moment.
He is.
And make it on aggregate. And in fact, he's closed the gap more dramatically on this final lap, and he's managed all the way through.
And
oh,
they know
look
it.
at them. Sam's praying. Francis Butters looking forward to his dinner tonight and hoping that he's got a Suzuki 1-2. He's so close to having an Alstara Suzuki 1-2 in his... Oh, and look at Laconi, cutting the gap back, inch by inch, foot by foot.
I don't think he can do it.
Oh, Sam, you don't have to cry, pet.
Oh, no, I mean, she's no worries. Of course he's got it, for sure. All he's got to do is stay on the thing.
Yeah, he's not doing anything silly, is he? He's just
not
kicking
at
them
all.
inside. But look at
be
Regis.
close.
Look at Regis Laconi.
I think he might have done it.
He's squeezing every last gasp out of that Xerox Ducati to try and to get himself onto second place in the overall aggregate.
I think he's done it.
Howling down the straight now towards the finishing line. Kageyama takes the second, the half of race one here. And a congratulations to Kageyama there from Troy Corser, because I wonder if he knows already what Kamiya's achieved. There's proof of the fact that Kageyama took it by about 3/10. Andrew Pitt will land fourth with land fourth place